and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a demo of one of the features on an app called CalcuPad. The general idea for the app is pretty simple. It allows users to do a simple four-function calculation like you've probably done in your math classes growing up. So CalcuPad is open source, which means anyone can download the source code and look under the hood, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today in this video. So first, I'll take you through a quick overview of how the app is structured. If we look at the main.storyboard, we can see that this app only contains a single view. In this single view, we have over on the left here a table view. More to come on that later. We're going to do a bit of a deep dive. And on the right, where the main calculator actions occur, we have a series. If I click into it, we have a series of nested stack views. So stack views allow us to manage the position and layout of different elements on the screen in relation to each other. And that's very useful when we're building something like this, like a calculator, and we need to ensure that the elements are in the correct order on the screen so that we don't have, 7, 4, 2. We actually get the right expected sequence of numbers. Okay, so now that we have a pretty decent idea of how the app looks and feels, let's give it a go in the simulator. So we can do a simple calculation like we would expect. Let's do 5 times 6. We get 30, as we would expect. And as we see here on the left in that table view that we looked at a bit earlier, we see that we're being populated with our history. So we see the calculation we just did and the solution. And if we do another one, let's do 9 minus 3, we get another one. So this is one thing that the storyboard didn't show us when we just looked at it, which sort of demonstrates how that storyboard view, while it's extremely useful, is not an exhaustive depiction of how the app actually looks when we run it. In order to know exactly what the app will do, we need to dig a little bit deeper than just looking at that storyboard. So let's do one more calculation. Let's do 9 divided by 3. Again, we see our list is being populated over here on the left. So once we want to start a new session or we want to start fresh, we can hit this clear button, and that will remove our running history list. And that's about it for the functionality here. So let's go back and take a closer look at the code and see how this thing works under the hood. Okay. In our viewcontroller.swift file, we can find the main logic that controls how this app functions. We have functions for, say, initializing the calculator object that we're going to store our data in. We have functions for listening to various types of clicks, like when a user clicks on a number or on the period. And we also have functions for saving data. And so let's kind of zoom in on that last piece. So in that demo that we just did, when we saw, we do an equation, we get the solution, and it populates in our running history list, how's that happening? How is that data sort of being passed within the app? So let's dive into it. When we hit the equals button, we trigger this function on equals tapped, which is listening for that specific type of tap. This function calculates our solution and saves the text as a string. After checking that that solution will fit within the size constraints of the running history list and giving an error message if it doesn't, it calls save to core data, and that's where we're really saving that solution. So now let's go take a look at save to core data. Okay, in save to core data, we save the equation and its solution as a result. Each result is a NS managed object. The NS managed object is a generic container provided by Apple that provides efficient storage for objects, which include a description and the object itself. So you can kind of think about it like a dictionary. I'm going to include a link to the documentation provided by Apple in the video description, so if you want to find more about these NS managed objects, feel free to go check that out. So once we have our result saved, we append it to results. And so what is results? Let's go back to the top and just take a quick look. Results are a list or an array of NS managed objects. So that makes sense. Each solution is a NSManage object, and results is just a list of those. So once we have our updated list of results, we call tableview.reloadData. And so this is an important piece. Once we have our data object updated, we need to refresh the app to actually pick up that new data so that on the screen we can see the equation that we just solved. The last thing that I'll show is kind of the flip side here. When we click the clear button to clear out our list of saved data, we're pretty much just doing results.remove all. So we're removing all the results from that list. And then again, we are calling tableview.reloadData so that our app actually shows that new cleared out list. So pretty simple, but this demonstrates how we can keep a running history list of data produced as we use an app, something that we could apply across a bunch of different types of apps. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe.